Doc?
I'll be gone for a couple of hours this morning, and if you need to get in touch with me, I'll be at a meeting at the county office building. Okay. Now, I don't know the room number, but it's under the name of Preston Carpenter.
Oh, I don't know what business you have with him, but I hope he's more like Miriam than Charles.
Well, I'm not committed to this project I own, but I'm just going to listen.
What kind of project is it?
Well, I'm sorry, but Mr. Carpenter asked me to keep it confidential. But I can tell you that it may be very good for the people of Chesterfield.
Oh, now I do hope he's more like Miriam. I mean, left up to that Charles, he'd have had this whole area as a garbage heap if it had made him some more money.
Well, I'm going to ask a lot of questions I own. Now, Alex is going to be taking over for me, but he can't get here until 9:30, and I figure you two can handle things.
Yep.
Apparently, he had a very late night last night.
Would you care to explain that, Lucia?
Well, maybe I would, and maybe I wouldn't.
Oh!
Well, actually, you see, Dr. Greeley and I have become rather close.
Gil, if we can get a good network of support from these men, we can smooth out a lot of obstacles and be well on our way to a very positive venture for all of us.
Which brings up a question I've got. Who exactly is going to be here today?
Well, Dave Phillips, you already know about. Then there's Kingsley's own Mayor Kincaid, Jack Lerner, formerly with Carpenter Shipping, and, oh, excuse me. Oh, what a coincidence. I was just about to mention your name. This is the other member, Congressman Lee Carruthers.
Sorry, I'm late. Did you start without me?
No. Although Gene is about ready to explode. You want some coffee, Stacy?
Yeah, I sure could use a cup.
You know, guys, it would be nice if we could get going.
Well, why don't you just pull up the chair and let's start?
All right. Now, here's what I need from you guys. Now, I have all the facts so far on Domi. Now, I want to tell you about them, and you see if you can spot anything that I've overlooked.
So talk.
All right. Fact. Barbara Gilbert is dead, apparently from a suicide. Now, what else do I know about Barbara Gilbert aside from the fact that she's the wife of the late Winslow Gilbert?
Of Gilbert Electronics? They just merged with Matrix Industries. I'd say you know that financiers weren't the cause of her problem.
Yeah, well, at least not from a lack of money, anyway.
What do you mean, a lack of money?
Walter, I will get to that soon, but right now I want to finish laying everything out the way I found it. Now, let's see here. Several days ago, when I was having one of my little private Domi sessions as Gene Foster, I ran into a Dr. Brian Graham over at Vanessa Vazan's office.
Well, that could mean any number of things, like they met at the country club, or maybe they're even friends.
Well, right, but still, supposedly, Brian Graham referred Barbara Gilbert over to Ben Martin's office. Now, the reason I say supposedly is because I think there's a possibility that Vanessa Vazan sent Barbara over there to see Ben.
Wait a minute, I don't follow. Dr. Pazan's a psychologist of some sort, right?
Of some sort, yes.
Then why did she send Barbara Gilbert to see a medical doctor?
Oh, Stacy, this is great. If I could figure that out, I would have the missing link to this whole thing and would have it all worked out. But one thing for sure I do know is that Barbara Gilbert was a Domite. Her brother, Ed Harrison, was positive that she was. Now, Nancy Lawson said that the woman was practically a master. That's the highest level that you can reach in Domi. A master has finally arrived, as they say.
Oh, arrived. Some arrival, suicide.
Well, really? Now, the other thing I can't figure is I talked to Ben Martin, and even though he wasn't too pleased to see me, when I mentioned to him that I knew Barbara Gilbert was involved in Domi and that she knew Vanessa Vazan, then all of a sudden his interest level kind of peaked. Now, Ben said that doesn't prove anything, but I said that's probably right, of course. But still, Ben, I know Ben Martin pretty well, and I think he's probably wondering if there's more going on between the Bedford and Dr. Fazan's Domi than anyone is willing to admit.
Wait a minute, you are hinting that Fazan set this woman up to kill herself so that Fazan could get her money. It seems to me the solution is simple. Who is in the will? I mean, if she is clever enough, Fazan, to engineer a flawless suicide, I would think she'd be clever enough to make sure that she or Domi was going to be in that will.
Wait a minute, Walter, I've checked that angle, and there is no will.
No will.
No, and I've been in touch with her lawyers, but no one's doing any talking.
Well, then help this Ed Harrison get some good legal support. If he could get some Gilbert Matrix stock out of this, maybe he'd tell you anything you wanted to know just out of gratitude.
No, I don't think so, Stacy. I know I said the will might be the answer, but if this Fazan woman is up to no good, and if she's got any brains at all, she's going to make sure she's planned a way to transfer this money without leaving a trace, at least not as obvious as a will.
Walter, I agree with you. I agree with you. Now, that's why I'm saying that Gene Foster needs a little more time to do some digging. Now, what do you say, man?
What I say is that you've still got just a lot of speculation, and what I've got is an accounting department that's on my back to shut you off.
Wait a minute. Come on now, you guys. Just think a minute here. Now, Barbara Gilbert is not the first Bedford patient that has died suspiciously. Now, in the last couple of years, there's been 3 so-called suicides. You know that's been connected with that place.
If we could get a hold of their personal records.
Listen, no one knows that they were alone. No family, no friends or anything. No one to investigate the death.
No one to contest their wills, no one to check their finances. If we could find the common factor between these 4 women, we'd be closer to the link that we need.
I just don't know, Gene.
Walter, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now listen. All I have to show is that 4 rich Kingsley socialites were connected with Domi, and they were depending on this Dr. Fazan. They were sent to the Bedford, and they all OD'd like Barbara Gilbert. Then I have closed the loop on this case, man. And Gene Foster's the guy for the job.
All right. Keep at it. But I want you to remember one thing. If this Fazan woman has killed 4 people for their money, she's not going to pause for a moment to deal with some nosy reporter.
Walter, I guarantee you won't have to worry about that because my cover as Gene Foster is airtight.
Gil. Congressman. You're, looking fit.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
I had no idea you two knew each other. Congressman, I think I should point out that Gil is our contractor.
Well, congratulations. That should be quite a plum for Prescott Development.
Yes, it is. What is it for you?
Oh, I'm here solely in the interest of the good people of Chesterfield, which is part of my constituency, as you know.
Yes, and both you and the good people of Chesterfield will profit once we're in full operation. If you gentlemen will excuse me for a moment, I think I'd like to wash my hands before the meeting starts.
So you've taken some time out from skirt chasing to do a little honest work, eh, Gil?
Look, Congressman,
Congressman, you must hate to say that. Well, don't let it bother you. Most people do. But that's what I am now, and I plan to stay a congressman for a long time.
Congressman, what I've been trying to say is that I don't plan to fight you. This project is very important to me and to Prescott Development.
Oh, I'll bet it is. Well, you guys just about went under after that little Vicky Lang affair, didn't you?
Well, I have learned a lot since the collapse of the Canterbury.
Well, that is very admirable.
Yes, I'm sure you've learned a lot, too, from your association with your good buddy and campaign manager.
Oh, Sebastian Knight completely exonerated me. He made an official statement that I had nothing to do with Kate Phillips' death.
So, we've both been used for suckers in the past, then, right?
One could say that. Yeah. You know, it's a shame that during your little tryst with Stacy and Amber Phillips, we didn't become better friends.
Well, there was really no need for that then, and I certainly don't see any need for it now. Let's just stick to the business at hand.
All right.
Good.
Do you know what other old friend is necessary for you to keep this important business?
Well, if you're referring to Dave Phillips, I already know that he's involved.
Oh, good. If you're as self-controlled with your ex-lover's father as you are with me, you two should get along just fine.
Dave and I have resolved our differences.
Well, then maybe you can help him keep his cool when he finds out he has to work with me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I could probably stand here like this all day long.
Oh, no, you couldn't. We'd be run over by sick people and two very unhappy staff members of the Chesterfield Free Clinic.
You're right. Besides, I have to get to that meeting at Preston Carpenter's.
I know. I just came by for a few minutes to tell you that I love you.
Oh, well, that's worth at least 1 minute. That leaves me with 1 more minute to bring up that subject we discussed the other night.
Oh, you mean the marriage between a certain clinic doctor and a certain nursing administrator?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I'd be happy to listen.
Well, you know, when we talked about the subject about moving up our wedding date to, well, from October up a little closer.
Mm-hmm. Dave, I think you said your time was short.
I did?
Yeah, I suggest you get to the point.
The point?
Yeah.
Oh, the point. The point is, I can't wait until October.
Oh, that is the best news I've heard all day.
I take it that's an agreement.
Sort of.
Well, does the weekend before Labor Day weekend still sound okay?
Oh, yeah. Because that gives me a week plus that holiday weekend for my honeymoon.
And you don't think the kids will be upset?
No, I think Stacy and Peter want us to get on.
Well, then it's settled then.
Yeah. Now, I think there are two people whose time is getting short. You've got to get to that meeting, and I have got to start making arrangements. August isn't too far off.
Now, wait a minute. I thought this was going to be a small, simple wedding.
Well, small and simple only means less flowers and less food.
Yeah.
Now, you see, what I'm going to need is
Yes.
a clean house,
All right.
a wedding gown,
Fine.
and a caterer.
Hope you saved them some coffee.
Oh, that's a fresh pot. I made it while I was waiting for you to get dressed. I still can't figure out why it takes women so long to get dressed.
Oh, just as I can't figure out why it takes some lawyers so long to get simple cases through court.
Courtney, I'm getting just a little bit tired of hearing that. Now, I have already explained to you this is not a simple case.
Vaughn can't perform his functions as a husband. I was deceived into marriage. What's so difficult?
What's so difficult is that your husband now claims to have made love to another woman before he married you. Now, that sends a pretty clear signal to the judge that he's not impotent, Courtney, especially if this woman in question is going to testify, which they claim is going to happen. Now, no matter how much you might want me to do it, I'm not going into court with our case consisting of your word against his. Now, can you not understand that?
Dan, okay. I didn't mean to make you upset.
Well, you wouldn't if you just stopped being so childish in insisting that Vaughn is lying.
He is. I know it.
Well, that's probably true, but he's going right into court to prove otherwise, and that's what we have to shoot down. All right, now, are you ready now?
Yes.
Okay. Look, Courtney, I'm sorry. I know that this is embarrassing to you, but it's all going to come out in court anyway, so we have to be prepared, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask away.
Okay. Now, tell me again. How many times did you and Vaughn try to consummate your marriage?
Twice. Once on the honeymoon and one night at the King's Arms.
Yeah. Did he seem frightened of you?
Frightened?
Yeah.
No. Why?
Well, I mean, he's going into court claiming that in the arms of another woman, he was able to perform sexually in an adequate way. In fact, he's probably going to claim that he was able to perform very well. Now, Webster is going to look for reasons, Courtney, reasons why he was inadequate with you.
Dan, we have been through all of this before. Vaughn's problem is not my fault. I would like you to concentrate on the fact that Vaughn misrepresented himself and his ability to father children, which is the reason I married him.
Well, right now, I'd rather concentrate on you, Courtney, on your side of the case.
You know, the way you're picking at me and my performance here, well, you've done everything but come right out and say that my virginity is going to work against me in this case.
You what?
You heard me. And just what is so funny.
Oh, I mean, come on, Courtney. I mean, it's just, it's been a few years since I've heard a girl your age make that claim.
Jack, you have checked all these figures very carefully. We can guarantee 1,000 jobs in Chesterfield.
When you add construction to the ancillary businesses that Commonwealth Trans Express will guarantee, I think 900 to 1,000 is a very safe guarantee, Preston.
Well, it won't eradicate unemployment, but they ought to see the merit of that many jobs.
Oh, they will, Preston. I'm sure of it. Everyone gains from this project. That's the beauty of it.
My sentiments exactly.
I was certain that Alan...
Gil, nice to see you again.
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Oh, just fine. What do you hear from Jason?
Oh, he's doing just fine. The business is booming down in Carolina, and he's actually done a couple of jobs out of the country.
Well, that's terrific.
Yeah.
You know, when he was a commissioner in this city, I always knew I had a real honest friend I could count on. Say, any chance of him getting back this way?
He talks about it occasionally, but it just doesn't seem to work out that way.
Well, I am pleased to see you coming along in his footsteps. Now, I know this is an important break for you, Gil, but if you're anything like your dad, I know you can do the job.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. That's very important to me.
All right, gentlemen. You'd all take seats, please. I think we ought to get started. I had been waiting for one more member, but I don't want to take any more of your time. All right. The first meeting of the Commonwealth Trans Express Review Board is now in session.
Oh, wait a minute. I see what you're trying to pull here. You figure if you go into court playing the pure and chaste young wife who saved herself for the right man, the judge will figure that Vaughn is some kind of terrible beast and you'll get your annulment.
I think if I simply tell the truth, then Vaughn's story can't hold up.
Courtney, look, I've got news for you. Judges are just like anybody else. And they know that boys and girls these days do things that men and women didn't even talk about not too long ago. Courtney, look.
Dan, please don't.
Now, Courtney, what is going on here? I mean, you really are afraid, aren't you?
Afraid? Afraid of what?
Of me. Maybe of men in general. Huh?
That's ridiculous. Dan, look, I've already told you that Vaughn's problem is just that. It's his problem. There is nothing wrong with me. Now, can we just get on with the questions?
Courtney. Come here, Courtney. Let me tell you something. You are a beautiful and sensual young woman. You can't hide the messages you've been sending me ever since we met. Huh? If what you say about your experience is true, then I can definitely see why you're apprehensive about going into court, especially with Vaughn coming out with the news about his affair. Because, Courtney, I'll tell you, the judge is definitely going to wonder if your fears and insecurities are what stopped Vaughn from holding up his end of the marriage commitment. See, look, Courtney, a man can tell these things about a woman. He can tell if a woman is comfortable, at ease, willing. And you've definitely been a little uptight at my touch.
No, it wasn't that way.
That's it, just relax. Just relax.
Vaughn's the one, Dan. He's the one who never approached me. He never tried anything. He's been weak and sick since I've known him.
I'm sure he is.
He's the one that wanted to drive to Florida so that he'd be tired. And he's the one who got drunk on the honeymoon. I was willing. On the honeymoon and at the King's Arms, I was willing. Dan, it's not my fault. Nothing's the matter with me. You've got to believe me.
I don't know what to tell you, Courtney.
Just tell me that there's a way to show that the problem isn't mine.
Gentlemen, before each of you is a profile of the structure of Commonwealth Trans Express. Come in.
I'm sorry I'm late, Preston. Some personal business. I've just set my wedding date.
Oh, congratulations. That's marvelous. Let me introduce you to the rest of the members.
Oh, no need to, Preston. Dave and I go back a long way. It's good to see you again, Dave. I couldn't help overhearing your good news. You, finally found the right woman, eh?
What are you doing here?
Oh, Preston, I guess you didn't tell him. We're both going to be working on behalf of the citizens of Chesterfield.
Help me, Dan.
All you need, Courtney, is someone who's warm and tender, someone who's strong, who can lead you and guide you. See, all your fears will melt away with the right man. That's all it will take.
That's the problem with Vaughn. He's just not the right man.
Courtney, don't even think about Vaughn now. Just concentrate on solving your own problems. See, Courtney, there's a very simple solution to this whole situation. I can take care of all your doubts and fears right now. Let me do that for you.